everyone. So this is about the Dorian scale, and I'm going to kind of show you some perspectives that are good to highlight because the Dorian scale is just a really good scale to use over a one chord or one minor chord kind of jam, but also in many other situations as well, like the 2-5-1 chord progression, or even on like the one chord of a blues. It can work in that situation too. So I was just jamming there in basically G Dorian with a few extra colors, but the thing that's cool about the scale to begin with is if you know I've talked about this scale many times in my previous lessons, but the minor pentatonic scale, everyone knows that one, right? So the Dorian scale has that in it, plus a couple extra colors, and these extra colors, the nice thing about them is they're resolved. They aren't notes or colors that have to be resolved. So basically, there's a few different ways to look at this. So it has the minor pentatonic scale in it. So I'm just going to highlight, the G Dorian scale. So, okay, so the Dorian scale, for those that maybe don't know, is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, and then you're back on 1. And then if you keep going up that position there, it's just the same notes and the same functions up an octave. So 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7, 1 again, and then 2 and flat 3. So like I said, it has the minor pentatonic scale in it, which is 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, plus 2, 4, and 6. So that's one way of looking at this scale. And so minor pentatonic plus a couple extra colors. And like I said, these extra colors don't have to be resolved. And so, like I said, it's just a great scale to jam in and kind of sustain. I'll give you some examples of some tunes that use this scale. But, right, so you can look at it that way. Pentatonic plus 2, 4, and 6. Which, by the way, in this case, it spells out A, C, and E, which is an A minor triad. So A minor, an A minor triad, are the three notes that color up the G minor 7 that's in that scale as well. So you could look at it, like I said, as minor pentatonic. Minor pentatonic plus 2 and 6, or you could look at it like G minor 7, 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, plus 2, 4, and 6. That's what I meant to say. So, so A minor are the tensions that are being added to 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, which spells out a G minor 7 chord, which we probably all know this one, right? G minor 7. So, yeah, I mean, let's see here. So, like, if you're playing, I have this groove going on in G here. If you play the A, it creates a nice tension. Okay, so there's that tension, and then tension 4, right there, C, So that's nice. And then the 6, which is the brightest of the tensions, 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6. So in this case, it's E. And so yeah, E in this case against G is the brightest tension, but check it out. Right there. Yeah, and you know, putting stuff like that into a looper or recording a G minor chord or a G minor 7 chord or what, you know, whatever key you choose, to have that going on and then checking out the sounds of these different colors is a good way to get familiar with the sounds of these colors, and then eventually they just you know, make more and more sense to your ear. So one of the chords that gets used a lot, particularly in funk, I mean, it's really like if someone asked me to play a funk chord, this would be the one. So it's like, you know, G minor 7, and then you bring this note, which is the 5, up a whole step to that 6. So the fingering can be a little funky at first for those that haven't maybe done it before. We switch to a clean sound. Yeah, so this chord, very funky. So it's like G minor 7 with this 6 here. Right, so it's kind of funky, or it's very funky. It's got this, you know, between the flat 3 and the 6 here, it's got that tritone interval, which my last lesson was about tritone substitution. So maybe check that out if you haven't already. Yeah, so like that's a really clear expression of this scale, Dorian. Yeah, and so as far as songs that have used this before, there's a great song by the band The Meters called Sissy Strut. They use C Dorian, and what's another good example? I mean, there's tons of James Brown, tons of funk examples. The Miles Davis tune. Called So What. The whole tune is based in D Dorian and E flat Dorian, primarily D Dorian though. And so you hear this in a lot of kind of jam bands and jazz groups that kind of stay in one minor tonality. A lot of times it's based in Dorian. And yeah, it's just one of my favorite scales, and I thought I'd just share with you guys some of these perspectives about it. Yeah, you know, more to get into in future lessons, but hope you guys enjoyed learning about some of these perspectives, and I'll talk to you in a lesson to come soon. All right, thanks, guys.